Well, a very good evening to you. This is your primetime news bulletin at 9. Comes to you live from our News First Centre here in Colombo on MTV Sport and Shak TV. I'm Shahin Jurangpati.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into your stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines.
The headlines on News First at 9.
Met Department warns of wind speeds increasing up to 70 km per hour in certain coastal areas of the island. A priest in Kilinochchi murdered. 2 individuals charged with kidnapping a youth and obtaining a ransom arrested. Number of election-related complaints rises to 466.
News First at 9.
Well, 3 persons sustained injuries when an earth embankment collapsed with a wall onto a house in the first milepost area on the K Gold 1 Valley Road.
The incident, which occurred last evening, had destroyed 2 rooms, the kitchen and the hall of the house. I noticed a gush of water and I tried to warn them, but the wall had already collapsed. Then I shouted for help. People came and managed to rescue the residents trapped under the debris. The injured were taken to hospital. A hospital spokesperson said that an 8-year-old child, her mother and grandmother were admitted to the Karavanala hospital and were later discharged. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology forecasts wind speeds of up to 70 km per hour in the deep and shallow seas off the coast extending from Mannar to Porterville via Galle and Matara. The weather forecast for the next 24 hours issued by the department at noon today says seas in the aforementioned coastal areas could be rough and dangerous. The Met Department also forecasts showers and thunder showers in the Uber and eastern provinces at night.
Winds will be westerly or southwesterly and wind speed will be about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. But deep and shallow sea areas of coast extending from Mannar to Porterville via Galle and Matara may be very rough at times and dangerous as the wind speed can be strengthened up to 70 kilometers per hour at times. And other sea areas around the island will be rough at times and wind speed may increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour at times.
The highest rainfall over the past 24 hours, ending at 8:30 this morning, was recorded from the Tetanagala area in Ratnapura, with the figure standing at 60 millimeters. A rainfall of 59 millimeters was recorded in Hiniduma in Galle, while a rainfall of 58.5 millimeters was recorded from Canyon. A group of fishermen in the Puttalam district who refrained from setting out to sea for several months decided to resume fishing activities this morning. Our correspondent said that a large number of fishermen in the area had not engaged in fishing activities for several months due to the inclement weather.
The police have launched investigation into a homicide in Kilinochchi.
Well, Crime Watch has the details.
A priest from Ambakulam in Kilinochchi was murdered last night. The reason for the murder is yet to be ascertained. 69-year-old Thamodaram Pillai Manoharan, a father of 7, was killed last night. According to the police, the homicide had taken place between 6:15 and 6:45 last evening while the priest was engaged in religious observances at his private Devalaya. The Deval is located 150 meters away from the victim's residence. At around 6:45, my mother told me over the phone that someone had stabbed my father. I then went to the location to check if he was alive. He was not. Then I went to the police. I, together with the police, took my father to hospital.
My mother screamed and we went to look. My father had been stabbed in the prayer room. People from the area arrived here.
According to the police, stab wounds were evident on the victim's body. The Kilinochchi magistrate carried out the magisterial inquest last night and the body was taken to the Kilinochchi hospital for the post-mortem examination. The police say that investigations are underway to apprehend the perpetrators.
Two individuals charged with kidnapping and a youth and obtaining a ransom were arrested from the Kathuru area today.
Now, according to the police, the youth was kidnapped after being drugged.
Maheshwaran Karthik, a resident of Nella Adi Jaffna, left his home for Colombo recently with the hope of travelling overseas for employment. Upon his arrival to Colombo, he stayed at a rest house in Kotahena waiting for a job opportunity. He had travelled to Vellavatta to meet a group of individuals who had promised to provide him with a job overseas. I was taken to a hotel in Vellavatta and given drugs. I was put into a room. They demanded 2 million rupees from me and assaulted me. I said I have no money. Then they held a knife onto my neck and demanded for the money. I had no choice but to give them 200,000 rupees. They still refused to release me. However, he had to consume alcohol with the group and later he was taken by a taxi in an unconscious state to a house in Kahatudua. The police said the abductors had requested for a sum of 200,000 rupees from his family.
They said they needed 2 million rupees for the release of my son. Then they reduced the ransom to 500,000. It was reduced further to 200,000 rupees. So I gave that amount of money.
A group of area residents in Kahatudua had informed the Kahatudua police that a suspicious group had been seen in the vicinity of the house where the victim was being kept. The police intervened and were able to free Maheshwaran and capture 2 suspects. By then, Maheshwaran and Karthik's parents had already prepared the money required to save their child. According to the police, the abductor who had obtained this money had given 50,000 rupees to a suspect who was later arrested. 44,000 rupees of this amount was recovered by the police, while another suspect had managed to take off with the remaining money. The arrested suspects were produced before the Kasbah Magistrates Court. The kidnapped victim was admitted to the Vathura hospital for treatment.
This is News First, Election Headquarters.
Well, there is less than 36 hours for the Central, Northwestern and Northern Provincial Council elections. Now, ahead of the polls, 466 complaints have been lodged with the Election Secretariat over the flouting of election laws.
That's right, Shaheen. The Elections Complaint Unit said that 57 incidents of election violence have been reported.
The Elections Complaint Centre says that the highest number of complaints have been recorded from the Kurunegala district, a staggering 108. It added that 66 complaints have been received from the Kandy district, while 63 complaints have been received from Matale. In addition, 22 complaints have been received from the Jaffna district, another 16 from Kilinochi, 45 complaints from Nora Elia, and 43 complaints from Putlam, all relating to the violation of election laws. The office of the police media spokesperson said that 135 persons have been arrested for the violation of election laws. Meanwhile, several houses of opposition supporters in Nikagolla, Kumbukyate in Kurunegala were attacked last night. Our correspondent in the area said that 2 persons injured in the incident were admitted to hospital. The houses of the supporters, several motorbikes and a 3-wheeler were damaged in the incident. Minister Salinda Dissanayaka and his supporters damaged 6 houses in the village and they destroyed the computers and TVs. They were armed and forcibly entered the houses. We can prove that they were armed. There is a hand grenade that did not explode. It is a complete lie. If they are saying that I was there, I was at a musical show in the village. They have done this seeking sympathy. News First was provided with footage alleged to be an attack on a motorcade of Minister C.B. Watnaika. The attack is believed to be carried out last night. When contacted, the police said that they have received a complaint in this regard. The police went on to say that investigations are underway into the incident.
2 candidates contesting under an independent group for the Northern Province have been assaulted by an unidentified group in Jaffna.
A senior police officer in charge of the area said that the assault had taken place close to the Panni Bridge in Jaffna at around 12:30 this morning. The 3-wheeler in which the candidates were travelling in had also been set ablaze. The 2 candidates who sustained injuries in the attack have been admitted to the Jaffna Teaching Hospital. A hospital spokesperson said that the injuries are not severe.
Former Chief Election Commissioner of India N. Gopalaswamy says that issues during an election in any country is a common occurrence. He made this statement at a media briefing held in Jaffna yesterday.
I tell you, the problems are the same. Problems will remain the same as long as we are dealing with human beings. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, whether you are in US or this place. If you start listing out the issues, you will be amazed as to how the same issues get repeated in a slightly different form. Because basically it's an issue dealing with human beings, and human beings more or less the same. There is an international body, IDEA. Yes, IDEA in its site has a list of 32 different methodologies by which electoral cheating takes place. And if you go through that and apply it to your own country, you will find more or less, almost, if not all 32, 30 will be repeated in most of the countries.
Campaigning activities for the Central, Northern and Northwestern Provincial Council elections concluded at midnight yesterday.
Let's have a look at some of the views expressed on the election platform yesterday.
Funds for education have been slashed. Funds for the health sector have been slashed. There is no business for shops. Three-wheelers do not have hires. That means the economy has collapsed. This is the largest economic collapse in the recent history of the country. The economy collapsed to a worse state than it was during the war. In another 2 or 3 months, those who said they were travelling to Pamankada will board the train from Pamankada and will get off in Elephant Pass. Those who want to travel to Madhavachya will be boarded onto a train from Madhavachya and will get off in Kilinochchi. This is because now we have Daya Master and Station Master in Kilinochchi, so there is no problem. There were people who asked where development is taking place. Development is taking place in the village. Ministers do not see the world. They live in mansions and travel by car. Once they get into the car, they sleep. They wake up inside Parliament. They are served high quality food at the parliamentary cafeteria. Once Parliament proceedings are over, they sleep until they reach their official residences. He does not see what is happening outside. He does not see the suffering of the people. We have a cabinet of ministers that tell lies to the people. Recently, the largest container of narcotics in the history of this country and Asia was discovered. How much was it worth? Around 2,000 million rupees. Was the person behind this revealed? Anything would be done in this country to gain power.
Meanwhile, the Tamil National Alliance held its final election meetings in Kilinochchi and Nallur in Jaffna yesterday.
5 petitions have been filed at the Supreme Court against our election manifesto. These petitions have been filed against R. Sambandhan and Mave Senadiraja. They have called for a halt of this election. They are charging that we are seeking a separate state, but we have not made any request. They do not know the definition of a separate state in the federal system. Look at the other countries. The US has a federal system. This system is also evident in Australia, Germany and even India. The 21st is the day when the Tamil people will come together to select their representatives. We are not selecting representatives for Parliament. We are not sending anyone for the Pradeshya Sabha. We are sending representatives for a United Provincial Council. Therefore, this is a good opportunity for us.
General Secretary of the Citizens Front, Parliamentarian J. Sriranga, participated in a tour in the Mathare district in a bid to support the party candidates who are contesting for the upcoming provincial council elections in the Central Province.
The MP toured Andavala, Hatamunagala and Ukuvela Tavalankoya areas in Mathale and discussed the issues faced by the locals in the area.
The minority has to be united. It is only then we can achieve anything. Navani then Pillai went back to South Africa from Tamil Nadu. From South Africa, she looks into the human rights from across the globe. Even Vijay Kumari's mother travelled from Tamil Nadu. If she asks what Vijay Kumari is doing, what is the answer that will be given? She will say that she is doing nothing. The leaders who were given to us do nothing. But Nelson Mandela took the country forward. Only the children smile here. We have to change this. What will happen in the end? We Tamils vote for Tamils. If so, why are they requesting people from Nuwara to vote for the beetle leaf? People who contest under the beetle leaf become UNP ministers. People who contest under the UNP become ministers under the UPFA. Only Vimal and Champika have not become president. If they become president, Arumugam Thondaman will even be in the cabinet. Even after being a minister for 50 years, has there been a change in the drainage system? Have line houses changed? Has the electricity problem of the general public been addressed?